Three, two, one. Welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. After much banter, go see the exclusive Facebook live feed for all the outtakes and all the things that are not fit to go onto YouTube. Better yet, don't, because this is all the stuff that is fit to go on YouTube. And we have a great open mic tonight, and hopefully by the end of this week, I'll be making an announcement for who will be our feature on December 14th. That's the second Wednesday of the month, and that's going to be for our live feature. If we do get who we want, it's going to be a nice homecoming of someone who we haven't seen for quite some time. God, I'd say at least five. It'll be at least 5 or 6 years since they've been at Stone Soup, and they used to be a regular all the time. That might be a hint for some of you. It might not be, but I'll be excited to make the announcement once I find out. Onto the actual open mic. The Rambinator 5000 has given us a selection of who goes first, who's on first, what's on second. I don't know who's on third. I don't know who's on third, who's on first. Anyway, let us go now to, okay, that was a two-person joke at this rate. Let's go now to our first person selected from the Rambinator 5000, Julie Murray Hoey.
I had a feeling. So this is inauguration, and I have not really read it out loud, so I will just do my best. Republicans don't inaugurate with poets at their side, horns blaring with divisiveness, waving crimson flags, contrived. It's true, no politician's perfect, an understatement for sure. I just can't get behind a dealer who claimed drinking bleach was a cure. Or another who'll eradicate rape. Why the fuck haven't you by now? Abbott's far from a holy man. I'm up the sweat pouring from my brow. We've lived through another midterm, petrified we've lost this crucial race. I've yet to view the country's results. Chad Parenteau's haiku, I await. I'll take Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, that Dick's an evil one. He shot a man in the face by accident, not in full sun. How we got him to apologize. His path paved with oil slick will be out within 6 months, he claimed. Aptly, he's named Dick. Those crimes were against humanity, with Condoleezza tossing rice, others behind the burning bush. Halliburton was no surprise. Regarding the insurrection, we asked for only full disclosure. With twisted pride, pure vanity, you amassed misguided soldiers who said that those citizens of the Capitol were only touring. So many false truths, I can't recall. Their deceitfulness is enduring. Horrified that they're procuring so many followers with their votes, with fascism flared and glaring, many of us can't help but gag. We choke on the words these politicians twist and turn, control and abuse. No disrespect for decent Republicans, but for these leaders, I've got no use. Just think about Pelosi's husband, Paul, with violence, maliciousness beaten. What that hammer meant for an older woman, they've given ammunition to cretins. They're now our election workers, guarded, donning bulletproof vests. You're manufacturing laws, anti-voting rights, doing your worst, overshadowing our best. The judge chose to overlook appalling voter intimidation, ignored the dagger aimed at democracy of jurisprudence. He's a poor imitation. Don't get me started on Reaganomics. Why not trickle up? Corporations became people with bullion-studded purses filling up. Capitalism is crucifying sheep en masse, well behind it. Fools who really own not a thing heed not the truth nor reminders. I just learned anger can be addictive. The media treats lives with sensations. Hate's become an aphrodisiac, our latest, greatest infestation. I've passion with a lion's heart. This poem could go on forever. Even our hardworking immigrants can attest the U.S. has straggled far, far away from heaven. That's it. I'll read it better next time.
Thank you, Julie. That was great. Hey, cameo. Anyway, let us go now to Robert Fleming. And thanks so much for joining our weekly gatherings as of late.
Thank you for hosting. Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming, a word artist from Delaware, and I'd like to share the screen. Thank you. So this is my Thanksgiving poem, A Tale of Two Toms. Tom, Tom, human turkey, holiday execution, eat stuffed, Thanksgiving sacrifice. And I will also share two other visual poems. So this is a Christmas one. It's a visual poem with a haiku. Santa and elves laid off by the Grinch. Santa sleigh Uber. And I'll share one more holiday poem. This is also a visual poem, Santa's and Satan's Pitchfork. Sleigh, Santa, snow. Sachem, Satan, sadist. And tonight I was requested by Diane Pierce, the publisher of Devil's Party Press. She's chosen to do a holiday issue for her magazine, Instant Noodles. And she asked me to submit, and the theme was fa la 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 la. So it's supposed to be lighthearted. And thank you and greetings from Delaware.
Thanks, Robert. Is that submission process still ongoing?
No, that was actually a closed submission.
Gotcha. But you said the name of the poetry magazine was Instant Noodles?
That's correct. It's the publisher's Devil's Party Press.
Oh, I see it right here.
And the magazine is Instant Noodles. And I will put that in the chat. They'll be having open submissions next year.
Very nice. Thank you much. Up next, we have our legacy poet has been waiting patiently, pug in tow, we hope, for coming up later. Let's welcome later Nico, but for now, let's welcome up the poet of the two, Julianne Powers.
Thanks, Chad. I'm going to read a poem by Jack called Struggle. You guys probably remember it, but here it is again. There is no gentle way to struggle. The first brief skirmishes leave one soiled. Words used as weapons, as violent as daggers. Cutting, forcing points and concessions. Humiliations, victories. Struggle is not heroic, but ugly, and always necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Julianne. Up next, We have our first phone participant, so if you can unmute yourself, Miss Nancy Dodson, by pressing *6, we'll hear you sound off.
Winter. Snowflakes peep behind my window. The wind blows against my face. Cold penetrates the body. Winter, go away. The freezing rain creates a skating rink. Watch out or you will fall. No bumps along the nose or knees, please. Just skate along with me. Why the wind, Lord? Why the hail and cold? My breath escapes in mist. I submit myself to thee.
Thank you, Nancy. We move on to Mr. Magister Galt, AKA Ed Galt, AKA check out his work next week in Oddball Magazine. Another photo piece slated for a really nice piece going up on Wednesday. And take it away, Ed.
Thank you. This is one where I was writing this years and years ago, and at the time, though, there's a clear distinction between ourselves and other countries, and I'm looking at this now, and some of the lines I wrote back then, and I'm thinking, gee, hits a lot closer now than it did back then, but it's the line between the way we do things and the way other countries do things is not so different. Okay, this one's called Wall. And as you can tell, I was in a little bit of a ticked off mood when I wrote it. Anyway, Wall. You don't know the power of the things you say. You don't think that I feel the power down deep inside. Conferring the ignoble titles, retard and queer. You say these things as if to a wall you know cannot hear. But I am not a wall. There are some countries, where people watch what they say because they know the walls have ears. The walls have excellent hearing in these countries. People quite often disappear and nobody knows. People in these countries don't have ears. They won't hear you scream when the police knock on your door late one night. Sometimes I wish that I were a wall with ears. People are more sensitive of the things they say when they are standing next to a wall with ears. Thank you very much.
A wall with a mouth would be even creepier. Bitch, I'm a wall. Get away. Anyway, we are ready to move on, but thank you very much, Ed. And like that one. I don't know if any of us are writing poems in good moods these days, but at least we are writing. Up next, for a little levity, for the love of God, let's bring up Bill Lewis.
All praise Lord Vermin Supreme, our leader, true and strong. All hail his gloriousness, ponies and for long. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Vermin Supreme, the ultimate ruler of the universe. We shall have a mandatory toothbrushing and camps. We have, what do you call them? Concentration camps for people who are not brushing their teeth correctly. And ponies, something about ponies.
Everyone gets a pony. That's what Vermin says.
A pony economy. Oh yeah, and of course, time travel. And What do we want? Time travel. When do we want it? Who cares? But now to more serious endeavors. Madam Dodson, you stroked my heart. I spoke to yours, or perhaps the two of us have some psychic connection, or it's just winter, one of those things, but there it is. Winter. Long, cold, lonely nights, shivering from frost and depression, rolled up in bed trying to sleep, praying for morning, just so you won't have to pretend to sleep. And morning that offers nothing, only a respite from the dark, an excuse to move and walk nowhere, to pace, kicking toes, hopping just to make the blood flow. For what? Another night of the same? Shuffling the empty streets to snack on nothing, fill the stomach with coffee from Mickey D's and shuffle on, both hands caressing the paper cup for warmth and sipping something that's far too hot. It warms the finger, it burns the tongue, and it tastes like, it tastes like heaven. Like walking out of a bad dream. McDonald's coffee tastes like hope, the light of the end of the tunnel. Nothing has changed. The wind is still whipping around the building. Your legs, your toes are still numb from the cold, and one cup of coffee does not change the world, but it sure changed your perception of it. The pain, well, it's just pain. Others have suffered worse, and they persevered. Well, some of them died, but the ones that didn't die, they didn't surrender. So they were still alive before they died. Others lived because they continued through the pain. So you continue. You pick up the pace. You skip. It is hard work, but it's your work. It is your job. It is your duty as a human being. There are people who are following you. Stand up, march forward, and do it.
Thank you, Bill. Up next, let's welcome up Jan Rowe. Got it.
Hi, I'm working on something, but it's about the COP27 that's being held in Egypt. I'm working on these numbers because there's 600 fossil fuel lobbyists inside the climate thing of COP, and the activists are sequestered. We know about that. So there's 600 lobbyists inside, and our F-35 jets we seem to sell, they take close to 6,000 liters or gallons an hour. I mean, I don't know if it's liters or gallons, but 6,000 an hour, fossil fuel in the military. Plus, where the COP is, Sisi has 60,000 political prisoners in Egypt. Now, Lula, who's the new president of Brazil again? Lula, he wants to have the next COP in the Amazon, but it's going to be at Delphi. Okay, but what I do have, I have something that I read yesterday at the Black Seed Poets coffee house. It's like half unhoused. This is it. This past Sunday, busing from Ashmont to Broadway so the T could have some repairs, I sat next to a Spanish neurologist on the bus who noted a decline in our infrastructure from his visit about 20 years ago. And this is when it's finally Reagan's tax cuts of the rich under 50% started to take effect. Oh, he also reports being unable to live by the hospital where he works. We do want doctors to be able to be close to the hospitals. I had recently heard that doctors are still being taxed heavily, unlike banksters and realtors. I still want to get that book. The best way to rob a bank is to own one. And that pass-through stuff that these rich use, that so they don't have to pay taxes like we do. But yay, Alex Jones, like Trump, has a financial monitor, so they can't move their moolah to shell accounts or offshore. Aw, too bad. So sad. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Up next, fresh from the polls of New York. Let's welcome up Patricia Kerrigan and thank her for all the hard work she did over there.
Thank you. Not yet, John, not yet. In 2 weeks.
Fair enough.
Twilight time, inspired by the platters. Twilight casts spells, scatters pink, orange, red, gold onto short-waved blue sky. With colors in turmoil, it must hurry, announce day's end. Quiet, gradual, not to disturb sun's departure. Blue to deepen night's shadow, and a curtain scattered in stars crowned by moon. I cast spells, scatter manifestations draped in pink, orange, red, gold onto short-waved blue incense. With colors in turmoil, I must hurry, announce intentions at day's end. Quiet, gradual, not to disturb sun's departure. Blue to deepen your shadow, and a bed scattered in stars crowned my moon. Thanks.
Thanks, Patricia. And now our third to last entry is coming up right now. Let's welcome up Mr. John Wesick.
Hello. So this one goes out to Bill Lewis because he's been in Estonia. This is my poem from Estonia, and it comes from this book, A Foreigner Wherever I Go, a book of poems about place that came out in 2020. Parting gifts. Cement block apartments litter the highway from my hotel to Tallinn's old town, leftovers from Estonia's former Soviet occupiers, drab peeling paint and weathered wood, rusty padlocks, secure sooty abandoned factories behind chain link fences. Someone's installed a nightclub in one. The green sign and blue awning emerge from a mass of broken windows, rubble, and blackened smokestacks. Free enterprise brings gas stations and traffic jams, trendy shops complete for tourist dollars along the medieval city's convoluted cobblestone streets. A sign requests donations for renovations inside the big Russian Orthodox church across from the Pink Parliament building. Why give money to those who enslaved my ancestors? Still I admire the huge chandeliers, vibrant icons, and sky blue ceiling with 6-pointed gold stars. I drop a coin in the box. Later, a sudden thunderstorm pelts me with rain. I take cover in an art gallery. A young man in a straw hat has been stranded too. He asks about my taste in music, says he plays drums in a rockabilly band, and tells me he's one of the Russians left behind after the Soviet pullout. The storm clears. I tire of trying to comprehend his halting English. He struggles on, attempting to communicate long after I would have quit. He stammers, "No, Esti Parliament, Russians," and kicks his foot as if booting a piece of garbage from his path. Rasputin joins us. He tears the cap from a vodka bottle and throws it away. "Let's go this way." He points down a deserted alley. fearful for my ticket home and the money belt chafing my belly. I make excuses, walk away and duck into a cafe to make sure they don't follow. I realize ethnic cleansing's cause sometime between the main course and dessert.
Thank you, John. And now, if hopefully he's here, we haven't seen him, I don't think we've seen him, there he is. Let's welcome up the musical stylings of Mr. Ethan Mackler. Thank you, Ethan. And now if he's ready, the person who usually closes out each round of the round robin can come up now. Check out his poem column. It's all one thing at oddballmagazine.com, appearing without fail every Thursday at 11 a.m. Mr. James Van Loy.
Thanks, Chad. So I have a poem called It Turns Out and In. It turns out the inveterate wingnuts inevitable have become wingnut cases. In mind, I see them caught in a rut left by the gravity the war displaces, but the train is waiting and the sign says board, so we run down the stairs and in we swiftly go. The seats are full, except one next to the Lord who sits there cackling, making a big show. And now you are part of it, your very self. So everyone not buried in the digital days is looking at you too. Stuck on the shelf on display, caught crafty in your worst phase. Back in the olden days of 50s conformity, or the submerged underground 60s depth, the collective response to the social calamity, this psychedelic reality became our strength until even now, the surrealists reign supreme while way down in the very deep sound ground through the twisting tunnels, we flow like a dream and arrive just in time to finally get there to see where we were going all along through this long trip with the trees breathing like entwined reptiles and the sky gleaming with those great pastel drips when everything changed just because of our trials. I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, "Where are you going?" And this he told me, "I'm going down to Yasker's farm. I'm going to join in a rock and roll band. I'm going to camp out on the land. I'm going to try and get my soul free. We are stardust. We are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Then can I walk beside you? I have come here to lose the smog, and I feel to be a cog in something turning. Or maybe it's just the time of year, or maybe it's the time of man. I don't know who I am, but you know life is for learning. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. By the time we got to Woodstock, we were 500,000 strong, and everywhere there was song and celebration. And I dreamed I saw the bombers riding shotgun in the sky, and they were turning into butterflies above the nation. We are stardust, billion-year-old carbon. We are golden, caught in the devil's bargain, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. We've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Might have someone else joining us for the second round. Thanks to everyone who participated in the first. I assume you're all sticking around for one more. We'll go back around to Julie Marie now, if she wants to start again, either reread the poem that she read the first time or something new.
I don't think I've read this. This is called Lucky Go Irish, Let Go. 1,000 poems and 1,000 more paintings. A lady in light, I'm no longer in waiting for truth. I drive by my youth. So much was uncouth. I've circled my life while circumnavigating, give up the strife, find myself gravitating towards rest. Always the best. To this I attest. My life has been epic. I'm a glorious heroine. Found me some heroes. Now I row away again. Sweet release. Do not compete. I'm simply complete. I'm lucky go Irish, Scot, German, Norwegian, a bit of a Brit and a frog. I'm up there with legions of laughter and love, spy from above, fly like a dove. As a child, I loved deeply my folks and the Trinity. Holy Spirit, she keeps me. Tuck me in very neatly, safe and warm, never in harm. I'm rarely the norm. My brothers and sisters, we walked hand in hand, battled the wrong bullies at home through the land. Ding rings the bell toward heaven and hell. But now I dwell in poetic paradise amongst trees by the river, Merrimack and Mystic. I'm a taker and a giver. Sprinkle advice, cinnamon, spice, not always concise. I'm crimson, pure gold, sienna, and turquoise. I've walked good red roads with toughness employed. I had no choice. Much too much noise, so much more joy. I've never birthed children, but I've got my Mary, Jennifer. She's twilight blue, cerulean, and navy. Skipping in time, Jewel, she is mine. Live in delight. I'm told I'm flamboyant and arc like a rainbow. We've all got our colors, all walked a strange road. For nothing I want, give up the haunt. It wasn't my fault. I've aged a little bit weary, wary of crackling thin ice. Pinpricks and stardust collide. Dancing I slip and I glide. I write and I paint, deleting the angst. Far too many to thank. They filled up my bank, accordingly rank, with angels and saints. I've got no complaints. I've got jasper and emeralds. With opals I herald, aged copper with metal. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Up next, we welcome back Robert Fleming.
Good evening, I'm Robert Fleming, a word artist from Delaware. And as a tribute to Bill Lewis, I decided to share on food. The first one is a haiku. I'll put it up. Here it is. No drive-through service. Liquid snow cone sugar shock. 7-Eleven. And then I will share 2 visual poems. My tongue through a donut licks your tongue. Tongues lick peanut butter ice cream, lick each other. Thank you and greetings from Delaware. And that's my favorite type of ice cream, peanut butter chocolate.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Julie Marie. We are moving on now to Julianne Powers for one more go.
I'm going to read a poem that I've been working on today. It's a work in progress. A racket erupted in my cupboard, unsure of what horror I'll find. Before I could even gather my pets, a sudden thrashing in the closet 2 rooms away started that had me racing my cat to the door, which was left 3 inches open. I quickly slid the door closed with one hand, grabbing my cat, who's ready to kill, tightly with the other, while the screams of a wild animal battle ripped and rattled the packing material I've stored inside. After putting my pets safely in a room and shutting every door in the house I could, I grabbed my electrical gloves, metal pot and lid, and went to investigate. My neighbors told me just last week that they've been shooting big rats that are getting into their chicken coop, so maybe that's what it could be. I braced myself and opened the door, and there it is, right on the closet floor, but it's dead. In its frenzied mess, could it have scared itself to death? I only see its lower half, and now it's slowly being dragged back deeper into the closet. leaving a trail of blood behind it as I look on in horror, not knowing what kind of monster is okay with seeing me and still not afraid of dragging this thing away. Now my biggest fear is that it's a weasel in here. I have heating ducts where it could be moving underneath anywhere around. Now I'm hearing it again in the cupboard, and I'm hoping it's not trailing guts everywhere. So my best hope is to scare it out. I turn on my little speaker and toss it right inside, and knew the perfect thing to play. 3 hours of blaring the lovely Mr. Bungle, and I haven't heard a peep since. And to my relief, a week later, I see an opossum scurry underneath my front steps, where the hole must be. Vermin getting inside is scary, but not as much as if it was a dreaded, deadly mustelid. Thank you. True story.
Wow. Dang. Where was Nico to help with all this? Anyway, but thank you, Julianne. And let's move now to our one phone contributor for this week, Miss Nancy Dodson. All you gotta do is press *6.
Nervous breakdown. I am me. I like to talk about me. If you talk to me, remember this fact: I love me. If I won't talk to you unless you talk about me, think about me and definitely concentrate on me, me, me. Encircle me with words, for egocentricity never bothered anyone, I'm sure. Around through me encircles the soul, heart, mind. Yes, I'm tired, bored, unlearned. Restore me and be thoroughly disgusted with me.
Thank you, Nancy. And now we bring up Mr. Edward Galt.
Okay. Thank you. This one is called Carol and the Baby. The clerk was having this wonderful chat with the woman directly in front of me with the frock coat. They must have been good friends, for they talked on and on about Carol and the baby. And the manager was in the doorway of his office with his back to the front of the store, talking about the setbacks, the many setbacks he had in sales. I went down the street to the other store. And as I walked in, the clerk's phone rang. And they talked and talked about Carol and the baby. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Galt. And we're gonna bring in someone who couldn't make it earlier, but I've been trying to get her on for a couple of weeks, and it'd be good to have her contribute a couple of poems for a little extra slot, given that she missed the first round robin. Denise, if you're willing to read now, you're more than welcome to do so. Whoops, you got to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. The first one is called To Understand This. To understand this, when someone tells you when someone tell you how they feel about you, what do they say? To understand this, when someone tells that person that they mean a lot to them, what do they say? To understand the, when that person doesn't respond back to you, how do you feel? To understand the, when that person is acting like you don't exist, how should you feel? To understand the, when you're losing your sleep and not eating well and cannot do the things that you used to do, how does that person feel about you? To understand the, when you show no fear to that person who cares very little about you, now that's deep. To understand this, you seem to be so happy what you did. To understand this, can you sleep on that? I bet you can. To understand this, does that make you a decent person, an honest person? Not in my heart, it doesn't. Thank you. That's the first one. Can I read another one too?
Yes.
I met my angel. I met my angel over a friend's house back in the day, 1970s, 1970s, yeah, 1977. Then he was fine. He walked right past me, said hello. I met my angel. He said to me, come here. Can we talk? I met my angel. He sang. I write music and poems. I said, yeah, I do too. So why you telling me for? He said, I met my angel. He said, because I believe you can do more than what you're doing now. I met my angel. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting yourself and go after what in life you will get there. Just believe in yourself. I met my angel. Wow. You should walk into an apartment and just saying what to me? I never met you before. And why are you I never met you before. And what you really see in me. I met my angel. Let me give you my number and kiss you away. And call me sometime. You will never, no, wait a minute. Let me get the part. I met my angel. Let me give you my number and kiss you away. Call me sometime if you want. I never did. I met my angel. We passed each other other night. He kept saying, I hope to see you. I hope to see you again. But not like this. I met my angel. But before the night was over, he said, listen to my song, he wrote, and say, please remember this. Keep writing your poem. Never stop. He sang. The song he sang was called Foot of Smoke. I met my angel. It is now 2020, October 2022. That song he wrote is still hot. It's still hot. I'm still writing. I never gave up. Thank you for believing me, Kristen.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
And up next, we have, yes, we have Mr. Bill Lewis. Bill, you around?
No, unfortunately, I am a square, but we will have to deal with that somehow anyway.
Who turned
Also,
off the lights?
Apparently,
Oh, there you are.
there I am. That's me. Look. What? Oh, I only get to see if you're on the screen, then I can see me, but I can't see me if you're not there. So that's crazy. So stop doing that, Chad. It's your fault. don't know if everybody else has to deal with Chad problems like this, but it happens to me all the time. This guy just drives me nuts. Oh,
Bill, you better behave. I'm gonna separate you and Chad.
Wednesday is one of my favorite days. I have a computer class. I've got my kids in today and just working with them and teaching and talking about cool stuff and them getting excited. It's just like, yay, my life is beautiful. And Saturday is the MIT weekend. I am going to be down there with a bunch of high school students, and I'm going to be talking about, yes, free trade and sailors' rights, free trade and so it was not really the best of slogans, all things considered, but that's all we came up with back in the day, and we went with it. So USS Constitution, I'm going to talk about that. And yeah, we was going to have a good time. But I am borrowing a poem that I liked, so you're stuck with it. I just, if I have like to read it, go by. I do not how to. From Percy Bysshe Shelley. Our breath shall intermix, our bosoms bound, and our veins beat together, and our lips, with other eloquence and words, eclipse the soul that burns between them, and the wells that boil under our being's innermost cells. The fountains of our deepest lives shall be confused in passion's great parody. As mountain springs under the morning sun, we shall become the same as we shall become one. Spirit was two frames. Oh, wherefore two? One passion in two hearts, which grows and grew to like two meteors expanding flame, the spheres instinct with it become the same. Touch, mingle, are transformed ever still. Mr. Shelley.
Thank you, Bill. Up next, let's bring back Miss Jan Rowe if she's got another piece.
She doesn't have anything.
I don't
right
have
now.
anything, Chad.
You're muted, Chad.
Whoops, I was saying, let's go to Patricia Kerrigan now, who might be sleeping. And she wasn't, I was just muted. See, Julie Marie, I cannot keep it all together. I fall apart at the seams.
Not yet, John. Give me a few weeks, I promise. I'm gonna put the goddamn tree up soon.
Nice.
Okay. In Brevitas 19, I'm going to read something on a lively note. Catcoo. I'm going to repeat it twice. Baseball catcoo. Tat in left field. Interrupts game. Butt wash. Cat in left field. Interrupts game. Butt wash. Tat strikes out. Umpire regrets decision. Cat strikes out. Umpire regrets decision. And last, cat bites pitcher, runs home, wins game. Cat bites pitcher, runs home, wins game. Meow. Figured I'd end on a lively note. I was going to be something depressing, but okay. In 2 weeks from now, it's Christmas tree time, John.
All right. We are. Where did Nico go? Oh, there she is. There she is. Aw. Look at a little girl. She's adorable. Look at Julian Powers' block. She's got a little pug. Her name is Nico. I'm just gonna pin it on here so everyone can take a look. Hold her up for the camera. Is it a Bones Day for her? Oh, it is totally a Bones Day if she's wearing that outfit.
She loves the love.
Yes. Very good. All right, so unpinning that now. We are now moving on to Mr. John Wezick, who might have continued words to say about Christmas trees.
Ah, yes. But I won't talk about Christmas trees. I met a poet named Jackson Macklow at Naropa, and what he did is he wrote a computer program to search through Ezra Pound's cantos and pull out random phrases and put them together into poems. And he wrote a whole book of stuff like that. So I figured, well, what the hell? I'll do the Jackson Macklow treatment to my own book, The Shaman in the Library, and I just used the Excel random number generator to pull out a page and a line. So here is me doing Macklow to myself, and instead of The Shaman in the Library, this is called Shacklow on the magazine rack. Excuse me. Comfortable in your umbrage, blitz toward the roast with backflips off the trampoline. My muscles strained to move through viscous air from the FBI between your thighs, forming pincers with sis into a mountain of debt where everything is safe, sure beats working full time. She sat at my paycheck's bedside as well as myriad decisions by silicon surface barrier detectors and sodium iodide crystals. Even when pricing helium futures, the robot maid's plutonium battery went dead. The one-story house of brick and wood gripes my ass. Pre-existing condition, it's not like I'm gonna die. I'm immortal, and this is the last time you'll make a fool out of me. When the downsizing began, I pointed to a homemade poetry pamphlet. Great barges plying the ineffable river, settle your awareness here and now in the diet and exercise section. So there you have it. I Maclowed myself.
Thank you, John. And now,
In a sense, you have the whole book in one poem.
nice. Oh, and it looks like he's getting prepped up. Let's welcome Mr. Mackler, Ethan Mackler, ready to go. And just like that. Thank you, Ethan. Any Garage Poet shows coming up? Any performances?
I believe there's a feature of significance this Friday. I don't know the name offhand, but you can check out Garage Poets Open Mic on Facebook.
Very good. Thank you so much. And maybe I'll be there, but I'll have to figure out the schedule, but you should definitely check out, if you know your schedules, the Garage Poets Facebook group. And they have everything from open, long, extended extra open mics to features live, to hybrid features, to workshops, which recently happened this Friday. Up next, and finishing off our open mic for tonight. Thanks to everyone for coming. Thanks for everyone for having the patience to go through my typo problem this week today. Let's welcome up Mr. James Van Loy.
Thanks, Chad. So this is a poem called, it's from a prompt actually from the Black Seed Writers. What justice looks like. What justice looks like. Right now, justice looks like the FBI director telling Congress his crew have been investigating collusion between the campaign of the current White House occupant and the Russians for months before the last so-called election, 10 days before which the FBI director dropped a bomb by notifying Congress that the current White House occupant's female opponent was under FBI investigation again. And as I think this thought, I can't stop thinking about J. Edgar Hoover, first FBI director, now famous for his propensity for cross-dressing in slinky night negligees and svelte evening gowns, who presided as a macho crime fighter over the killing of John Dillinger, shot down in the street in front of a movie theater, while J. Edgar went on to persecute gay people throughout the government because they supposedly were vulnerable to Russian blackmail. Well, we now know he was being blackmailed for his feminist fashion preferences by the mafia, who his FBI ignored for decades, including, of course, in the matter of JFK's assassination. So we could say that's what justice today looks like in the USA, 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 USA. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're going to meet some gentle people there. For those who come to San Francisco, summertime will be a lovin' there. In the streets of San Francisco, gentle people with flowers in their hair. All across the nation, such a strange vibration, people in motion. There's a whole generation with a new explanation. People in motion, people in motion. For those who come to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you come to San Francisco, summertime will be a lovin' there. And that is the song that they were playing when I got out of the Army in 1968 at Oakland, California. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, James, and thanks to the rest of you for coming out tonight. Hopefully by Friday, we'll have an announcement for who our feature is going to be for our last live feature is going to be for 2022. Again, the live feature will be at the Assemblage Gallery as part of the Fort Point Arts community on Wednesday, December 14th. And hopefully in January, we'll be breaking out with more live shows on a more regular basis. And we'll also be gathering online for the rest of the year and hopefully having at least one more online feature before the end of 2022. Thank you guys for all your patience, especially tonight with the mess up with the some reason 19 looked like 16. But do the obligatory wave. I actually almost forgot it last time. Aw, Nico's got to do the wave too. Aw, kill goal. And hope to see you guys possibly next week, definitely 2 weeks from now. I'm going to debate the wisdom of doing a online gathering the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. There is a chance it might be early. There may be a chance we skip. I will let you know. But either way, we'll be definitely back in 2 weeks, hopefully with an announced feature and hopefully with an announcement of the live feature, which I'm so hoping comes through. Thank you all very much and have yourself an excellent evening. Thank you all for your patience and take care.
Thank you for hosting.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you,
See you all
Chad.
next. The show's over. See you all next time.
Bye.
I have a quick question.
Bravo,
Quick, what's the question? Who has a question?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So we having an open mic on Friday. Is it gonna be online or is it gonna be in person?
If we have the next open mic will not be on the 19th. It's going to be possibly next week, but or it might be 2 Wednesdays from now, but either way, the show is every Wednesday for the rest of 2020, except for the live show. It's going to be Wednesdays from 7 to 9. And there will be announcements. Yep.
Okay, so it's not gonna be online. It's gonna be live. Like we go through
There'll be a live show on the, I have to have it in front of me, otherwise I'm gonna screw it up. There will be a live show on the 14th of December, and there will be an online show on the 7th, no matter what.
Okay. Okay, so what about Friday? Are we supposed to have something happen on Friday?
There's on Friday, there's the Garage Poets. I'll post a link this Friday, and there'll be information on that.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Take care.
Thank you. Good night.